We're being joined live by Rohit Sharma, my colleague in Washington, D.C., or right now actually in Dallas, United States of America. Rohit, thank you so much for joining me. Day two of the shutdown, it seems like he's already starting to put the words to action from New York.
Well, actually, you know what? At the end of the day, look, today is going to be a very important one because it is political. I think people see through it, but it is interfering with lives of federal government employees who've been working, for the government. But importantly, Geeta, President Trump is meeting with Russ Waugh, who was the architect of Project 2025, and they are using this opportunity to threaten the Democrats, that president would be ending up, he could end up uh, revamping the agencies and doing mass layoffs. So it's going to be very interesting how this all pans out. Look, we know for a fact there will be another vote on Friday, which is tomorrow. The Democrats are under pressure. It's not a sticking point as far as most Democrats are concerned. But at the end of the day, President Trump might use this an opportunity to basically go back to his agenda. And he famously last year during the campaign said he had nothing to do with Project 2025. And yet today, in crisis, when the government is shut down, he's meeting with Russ Waugh, who is the OMB director, to look at mass firings and revamping the agencies. So I think President Trump and administration is looking at using this as an opportunity to score some political points.
Well, also, he's now weaponized funding. Over here, funding is stopped, government has shut down, but he's used the very same funding, weaponized it against the Democrats. So they are indeed feeling the pressure because he starts with the Democratic New York City.
Absolutely, and that's something he's made it clear. He would never do anything to upset his base, but he would do everything that he can to make sure that Democrats feel the pinch. So he would start with that, Geeta, for 100%. But look, some people on the ground believe that this is a pressure tactic. This is, President Trump trying to negotiate and trying to make sure that the government is open. If the vote does, happen in CR getting passed on Friday, we could see the government opening up soon after that. But this would not last beyond few more days, is what the sources are telling us.
Okay, these are the terms and conditions for funds to keep flowing into universities. It began, and the big war began with Harvard. But interestingly, Harvard has, even as this announcement comes, hired a guest professor in somebody who prides himself in being a representative of the queer community.
Well, yeah, that hasn't stopped Harvard. But then look, President Trump, what he's doing with this new 10-point memo is trying to make sure that the culture of the university, the hiring practices, what is being taught at these universities, and in fact, admissions and international students, they're held to the standards that their administration wants to dictate. And it started with Harvard. Now you talk about 9 more universities that are getting targeted, including the MIT, University of Texas, University of Southern California, Vanderbilt. So all these universities are being told that if you are not able to adhere to the policies of the White House, we are not going to cut your funding, but you may not get the preferential treatment. And this goes back to, what President Trump had said last year, actually earlier this year, about trying to correct or course correct what's being taught in the universities, the hiring practices, the DI initiative. So not really surprised here. I think this is President Trump doubling down on some of his policies. We'll have to wait and watch how many of these universities can actually fight it out or get a deal done like we've seen that other universities have done in the US.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see how that really pans out. But for now, President Trump has completely weaponized funding in the United States of America. Rohit Sharma, thank you so much for joining us.